Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, you know, we do still have some stuff to talk to Delarosa about, but I think we'll hold off on that for now. I'd really like to make sure we hit up Blaine today, so we'll maybe pay the priest another visit after we take care of that cult. But for now, we take in some of the sights. Let's see what else we've got out here. We'll just work our way across the courtyard until we reach Vladane's palace. This statue undoubtedly depicts Provisional Dewayning, the legendary rogue trader who founded Footfall. Oh wow, they actually modeled the whole thing. That's actually kind of impressive.
I always have a backup plan.
The sight of this cogitator would be enough to break any tech priest's heart. The machine is leaning slightly to one side, grimy, covered in scrawled drawings, with frivolous writing scratched here and there on the casing. Several keys are missing, and the rest are coated with dust. Pascal's respirator lets out a mournful hiss before he says grimly,
"The right of passage has been repeatedly and blasphemously violated. Requesting the identification and punishment of the deplorable acolyte entrusted with caring for the spirit of this machine."
After a series of creaks and groans, the cogitator's dusty screen lights up. On it are several lines of text. Section headings.
Praise the Omnissiah. The machine spirit of this cogitator is aggrieved, but willing to serve.
Accompanied by the crackling of a binaric prayer, Pascal's mechadendrites gently place a couple of keys lying on the floor back into place. Welcome! The screen flickers a few times before revealing to the world a text in low Gothic.
In the name of the founder of Footfall Station, conqueror of the stars, builder of outposts, the noblest rogue trader Provisional Dewayning, and on behalf of all his descendants, I welcome you. This cogitator was installed on the order of the illustrious Provisional, so that the needy may tap into the flow of his wisdom. Cast your eyes upon the list of sections, and choose what you wish to know.
Abelard's brow furrows. Provisional Dewayning? I've never heard of such a rogue trader house. Whoever this Parsimus was, he sure thought big. Lord Captain Provisional Dewayning, one of the trailblazers of the Koronus Expanse and this station's founder. I've read about his great deeds. Lord Dewayning was once a colonel of the Astra Militarum, but, by his will, later inherited a warrant. He accumulated enough power to gather a small fleet of loyal allies and venture out to conquer the Koronus Expanse. They say Footfall was meant to be his personal palace world, but the construction dragged on for decades and Lord Provisional eventually died of old age. His enemies instantly tore Footfall to pieces and turned it into the bastion of humanity we know today. One that is full of bandits, privateers, hustlers, and rogue traders. Pleased with herself, Cassia nods slightly to let everyone know that the lecture is over. Why, thank you, Cassia. You are adorable. And honestly, that was kind of hot. What can I say? I'm a lore hound. Anyway, about Footfall.
Footfall Station has been envisioned by the great Provisional Dewayning as a palace in the stars, as majestic as the spirit and mind of its creator. As of the year of this cogitator's installation, merely a small fraction of the great Provisional's design has yet been made a reality. But already, their audacity and grandeur are staggering. Footfall is to become the gateway to the savage and barely explored Koronus Expanse, a foothold for the future conquests by the Imperium and the noble Provisional Dewayning, who acts by the Emperor's will.
The cogitator wheezes and blinks, clearly trying to shut down. After some tinkering, the cogitator whirs, and the screen turns back on.
One of the first structures on Footfall was the colossal statue of the Emperor. A whole asteroid was used for the creation of this sculpture, and even its titanic proportions cannot convey the awe that every faithful servant of the Imperium feels before the Master. The statue is the center of Footfall in the same way that the Emperor is the center and heart of the Imperium. As construction progresses, new, smaller asteroids are being attached to the statue, their surface serving as a foundation for glorious palaces and temples, and their inner tunnels as homes for the commoners and rabble.
Neat. Parsimus Dewayne's design. The cogitator flickers and grunts before displaying a tapestry of text.
The great Parsimus Dewayne intends to conquer the Koronus Expanse and build the most grandiose structure, which will shine through the ages, praising the names of its creator and his descendants. Footfall, the palace in the stars. The glory of the great Parsimus's deeds will live on throughout the ages, and his grand designs.
The cogitator hisses and grunts as it tries to clean its insides by spewing out dust and detritus through its cracks. The cogitator hisses for a while, then the screen flickers and once more shows the words.
The great Parsimus Dewayne intends to conquer.
Pascal's Vox wheezes mournfully.
The spirit of this machine is enraged and will perform its function no more. I will see to it that the profaners responsible for its maintenance are marked for servo penance.
Oof, harsh. But yeah, I get it. Wonder what else it was going to say, if it was just going to repeat his desire to conquer the Expanse, or if he was focused on any one thing in particular. Perhaps whatever it is that Theodora was looking for before her sudden and violent demise.
I always keep my options open.
In this mishmash of devices and cables, you notice equipment from totally different eras. Some ancient, some merely old, and others hastily tossed together in more recent years. I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. A stall selling old knickknacks for everyday needs. A small food booth. The portions look meager. I like that parasol. The wares here are shoddy-looking weapons, built out of questionable parts.
Keep your wits about you.
Goods? Ah, just more flyers. Those Anvers sure get around. Oh ho, what have we here? Come one, come all, peer into the eyes of the enemies of humanity! Well, maybe I will. But not because you told me to. Xenobestus unknowis. Behavior, cruelty, trickery, rampant mating. Habitat, void, doesn't need air. Diet, rocks. Fears the Emperor, fire. I feel like that might not be entirely accurate, but let's see what else we've got here. Punish the Xenos, a coin for a go. No, I don't think I can slot that in. Durukara, behavior, villainy, malice, habitat everywhere, hides among people, diet, doesn't eat, feeds on blasphemous thoughts. Fears the Emperor, prayer, righteous thoughts. Yaldery, behavior, duplicitous, aggressive, habitat, woods, diet, infants, 2 to 3 a week. Fears the Emperor, righteous people. Well, this has certainly been a very eye-opening display. Methinks we'll have a quick chat with the proprietor. This young man is clearly making every effort to look dapper. His fashionable clothes are practically new, and his hair is well groomed. What ruins this impression is the poorly scrubbed-off oil stains from his leaky implant, and the fit of the jacket, which was clearly made for someone else. He gives you a beaming smile and says, his voice ringing, "Your lordship, what an incredible honor! This humble collection is hardly likely to impress you, a rogue trader, conqueror of the stars. But it is the best one on Footfall." Yeah, I can't say I've seen anything else quite like it. What exactly is this collection? Dangerous, vicious, ruthless xenobeasts, caught red-handed as they were attempting to commit evil against the Imperium. But right now they're harmless. Our cages can withstand their rage. But I wouldn't recommend getting too close, haha. Yeah, I'm about 107% sure these aren't actually Xenos. I'm gonna guess mutants covered in makeup? The man's smile dims, but only for a moment. Not Xenos, you say? I'm sure there must be some mistake. I will check the shipping list myself. Rest assured. His words are oozing with greenish-yellow hues. I do not think the promise will be kept. Such entertainment is lucrative precisely because billions of Imperium subjects have never encountered a Xenos in their life. Ignorance and curiosity create colossal demand. That's what I was taught. And I can see that the lesson was truthful. You heard the lady? She doesn't like what she's saying. And I'm fairly certain you just lied straight to my face. Shut this down. Let these people go. Otherwise, we might have to discuss that lack of respect. The man's cheerfulness fades a little, but he instantly offers you a respectful bow. As your lordship wishes. No need to fret. I will release them all immediately. Hey, nice. That was easy. I'm afraid our establishment has been forced to suspend our Xenos display. Oh, that is a darn shame. Be sure to let me know if you ever start it back up again. I'll come running. Oh, how are we? Hey, look at that. Tier 2 in Iconoclast. Oh, wow. Okay. So apparently we actually hit it last time around, I guess. So we are well on our way towards locking this in at Tier 3. I still would kind of like to hit at least Tier 1 and the other two, but I'm just not sure that's going to happen at this point. The further into the campaign you get, the steeper the checks become. At least for anything significant. We'll see how it goes. Spiral Black Obscura. Let us pass. We have important matters to discuss with the Liege. Leave. The Liege will see no one today. I don't understand. Never before has Fladaim refused me an audience. I'm a hereditary servant. My family has tended the station for generations. How dare you bar my way? You're welcome to file a written complaint and deposit it in the Liege's complaint box. That trash chute over there. Interesting. Attacks on the dot, signs of food shortage. An unruly mob gathering on his doorstep. Fladaim will be as slippery as a snake, like any seasoned operator. I don't need any voices in my head to predict that. Some leaders hold on to power with an iron fist, but Tokara isn't the type. He's an opportunist. A brilliant opportunist. Noted. Thanks, Abby. And there he is, Vladain Tokara the Liege. Also, Jay. My patience. You remember the way out. Dismissed. The tall man in austere gray clothes makes a show of looking past the woman he's addressing. Vladain, Vladain, Vladain! What odds he put such harsh words in your mouth? You talk like you're an Imperial clerk, not one of us. The woman who is standing with her back to you lets out an ostentatious sigh. Then her tone changes dramatically. Where's my cargo, Vladain? Falco has it, doesn't he? So that's how you do business with your old friends these days? So you don't remember. Then the help will remind you. Guards, escort her out. Hidari, move. The massive guard leads down to the woman and says in a lowered voice. Jay, get going while he's letting you. Go drown your sorrows at the Amasekis and thank your lucky stars you were able to walk out the door. You won't get a chance next time. First an insult and now threats? I see courtesy and tact are no longer a valued commodity on Footfall. Oh well, I'll find myself a better deal. She turns on her heel and heads towards the exit. As she passes you by, she gives you a quick once-over, winks at you, then immediately turns away with a flip of her jet black hair. Look at that jaywalking. Shameless. The tall man, who has long since noticed your presence, is studying you intently. Vladain Tokara, Liege of Footfall. Let us please proceed to my office. A spread befitting a visitor of your rank is waiting. Your entourage will be accommodated nearby. Gotta say, Vladain, I heard you ran a tight ship, but, not so sure about that after what I've seen on my way here. My apologies. It was no sign of disrespect toward your esteemed personage. Please allow me to prove it. While you're engaged in small talk, you get a chance to take the measure of Liege Tokara. His expression is aloof and focused, his gestures curt and firm, and his speech calm and quiet, as though he is used to people always listening to what he says. Judging by his observant gaze, he has been studying you in turn this whole time. Vladain straightens in his chair and says in a polite but completely indifferent tone, Let's talk business. On behalf of the elite of Footfall Station, I offer you my condolences, Lord von Valancius. We mourn Lady Theodora's loss, and we hope this sentiment is taken as a sign of our good intentions and willingness to cooperate. Is that so? You know, Vladain, most of my brain's been replaced with a computer, but even I could tell that was pretty insincere. That really how you want to set the tone? He nods calmly. A fair point. You can, however, be assured of the sincerity of my desire to cooperate with you. It was a bold move on your part to announce yourself as the new rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty, despite not yet having your status confirmed by anyone of import from the Imperium. I appreciate such traits in people. It's good to understand who you're dealing with. I've heard much about your rare acumen, or should I say, about the profoundly impressive results you managed to achieve by using it. I have always had a fondness for individuals who can destroy their enemy, or gain a powerful ally with just a few well-phrased sentences, or precisely issued orders. The corners of Vladain's mouth twitch, bringing his expression dangerously close to a genuine smile. Ooh, nice nod to our backstory. That's fun. As you may have noticed, Footfall is currently in a state of crisis. Its people would benefit from the patronage of a figure such as yourself. Yeah, I noticed that. You know, I was attacked just off my ship. Seemed targeted. An outrageous stunt. A show of disrespect for both you and me. Sadly, such incidents on Footfall are akin to natural disasters. Impossible to predict or preempt. They simply happen. Many consider Footfall to be a pirate den, but believe me when I say that there is a difference between organized crime and gangs of thugs who have nothing to lose. You were attacked by the latter. The Anvers are a gang of punks who spit on our customs and hierarchy. Even their leader is more akin to an ideologue, a rabble-rouser who calls for people's heads. Not a commander. Sooner or later we will find him and have him strung up. That will likely cool his followers' enthusiasm. Behind the carefully built facade of composure, you sense anger. It appears that this man is not used to losing control. But that is exactly what is happening. Come now, Vladame. No need to be coy, not with me. I get the distinct impression that we're essentially two birds of a feather. And you know, even I can tell that these Anvers frustrate you. I consider myself a man of restraint and civility, but even I've been known to dispatch a nuisance from time to time. Please, don't hold back. A shark-like smile appears on Vladame's face, bloody and vicious. Back where I grew up, they called it throwing someone for a loop. They carved a particular sign on the person's forehead, then load them alive into the slag disposal chute and send them out to orbit the station. Every 30 years we clean the orbit and count how many stiffs bearing which signs have been floating around. You have no idea how much I want to throw these little thugs for a loop, like in the good old days. Yikes, that's a fate to avoid. Well, that's delightful. And the woman you were arguing with when I came in, her too? Vladame's expression hardens, and he makes a frustrated gesture. Yes, a dead woman walking. Some, however, still call her J. Haydari, a small-time hustler with big ambitions that will lead her to a sticky end. Inappropriate? It's strange. A small-time hustler, even a particularly audacious one, wouldn't likely quarrel in public with a figure as important as the Liege of Footfall. What seems stranger still is that the Liege knows this small fry by name. She is irrelevant. Since I'm the one in control of the situation on Footfall, I can speak on behalf of all of its noteworthy residents. Right, so, speak then. What exactly is going on out here? Nothing good from what I've seen. Yes, things have been troubling. Xenos raids are growing more frequent, trade is suffering, and fringe worlds are going under. Rumors of atrocities being committed by enemies of humanity are causing excessive panic due to their exotic nature. The core of the Imperium forces in the Koronus Expanse has departed for the sector's borders to combat the Xenos threat. There has been no word from them for a while now. Then again, with the distance and the current issues with astropaths, that is not entirely out of the ordinary. Still, we are not yet alone. From several of the worlds hit by Xenos attacks, we've received reports of fierce warriors who descended from the sky and entered the fray. The fragmentary accounts lead me to believe that the blessed Adeptus Astartes are operating in the Koronus Expanse, and I await news of their victories with great anticipation. Xenos, huh? Have there been many attacks on the station? No, there haven't. Attacking Footfall in general is not a particularly reasonable thing to do. Many ships are docked here at any given time, and even the listed weapons on board them would make for a decent fighting force. And that's not even to mention the firepower that our esteemed merchants have shamefully hidden from the station's customs officials. For us here, Xenos are more a source of income than a threat. Blaine freezes, gauging your reaction.
How very pragmatic of you.
Yeah, I've long held the belief that humanity can only benefit from better understanding their foes. And what better way to do that than by capturing and studying the tools they use against us? I'm convinced that your connection with Footfall will allow you to broaden your knowledge and understanding of Xenos considerably. I will see to it that your curiosity is satisfied in every way. Oh my, easy there, Blaine. Don't threaten me with a good time. And what exactly is the price tag that comes with this level of cooperation? Protection. Not military protection, but a different kind of security. You have, of course, already encountered difficulties with warp navigation on your way here. But I'm afraid the scope of these difficulties extends far beyond this area. Reports of disrupted routes and ships vanishing during short jumps are coming in from across the entire sector. Communications with the Calixis sector has been extremely unstable. Of the ships that have dived into the Maw in recent years, none have returned. The last ship that came through the Maw from the other side was struck by a temporal anomaly. The jump took almost 2 decades in real space-time. You're well aware that the warp is unpredictable, and its fluctuations are a common, even expected occurrence. And this brings us to our main issue. Footfall is a repair shipyard and a trading post. We barely produce anything ourselves and are largely dependent on incoming shipments. Especially food shipments. The station, naturally, has some reserves, but the supply issues didn't start yesterday. Footfall would be obliged if House von Valancius would assist us by signing a contract for food deliveries. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. But there's at least 2 other rogue traders active in this sector. Surely you tried approaching them. Naturally, I tried contacting other rogue traders, but the terms of House Corda would have bled Footfall dry. And as for the esteemed Caligos Winterscale, instead of a food shipment from him, I received a transport, the Navica, packed with refugees. I had to send them off to Foulstone. So many extra mouths to feed would have only worsened the crisis further. I suppose all these warp fluctuations must have created more pressing concerns for Lord Winterscale. And so I put my faith in you, the third and last of Footfall's allies. You do realize you've just described a situation where I have every advantage going into this, right? Short of accepting Corda's offer, I could ask for pretty much anything I want and you'd have no choice but to accept it. Blaine listens with a stony expression. You are very perceptive. Well, now you know what you're buying. The situation is difficult, but should you decide to offer your support, you'll forget about the existence of trading hubs other than Footfall, because you won't have more loyal friends anywhere else. I will admit there is some appeal to that. But surely it's not all you're offering. Let's talk terms. It's simple. Delivery of food shipments from your fertile worlds. A Janus, I imagine. I'm quite familiar with that jewel of the von Valancius Protectorate. In exchange for fair payment. And of course this is our chance to jack up our profit margin, but that really does feel like short-term thinking. I mean, as several people have pointed out now, Footfall is the only, I think, full-fledged shipyard in the Koronus Expanse. So obviously it's in our best interest to keep this place functional, and, if possible, in our debt. I mean, that's a pretty huge advantage over the other two rogue traders if we essentially control the only hub between here and the rest of the Imperium. Not to mention, of course, it'll also jack up our iconoclast, but, I mean, even ignoring that, I feel like it's just a good long-term tactical decision. Tell you what, Vladame, I don't think it's in anyone's interest if this place goes under, so I'll do everything in my power to keep it running. Just remember who did this for you. Vladame's gaze is slightly distrustful. Such charity is a rare sight in the Koronus Expanse. Even figures as powerful as rogue traders do not show it often. Thank you, your lordship. Happy to help. In fact, maybe I can help with a few of your other problems, too. Why don't you tell me a bit more about your Anvers problem? He grits his teeth slightly before answering. I've been using all my resources to delay the moment when the station is hit by famine. I haven't gotten around to the Anvers yet. As detrimental as they are, they're no players. When their leader dies, the rest will scatter. Fair enough. Just thought I'd offer. Mind if I ask a few other questions about Footfall? Of course. Rest assured, I will be candid. My lips are bound by the oath of service. What exactly interests you on Footfall? This abode of merchants, xenotech traders, and only a few bandits. Right, the oath. My man Abby mentioned that. Yes, there is a certain custom on Footfall. Any rogue trader who arrives at the station and docks is considered to be its absolute ruler, and the liege their loyal servant. That makes me your servant. Vladame's arrogant bearing contradicts his words. I see. I'll try not to let it go to my head. And I, in turn, will remember your gracious attitude. And I'll remember it when the esteemed Caligos Winterscale returns to discover that Footfall is no longer under his patronage. He will be displeased upon finding his domain encroached upon, and will try to take it back. And Caligos Winterscale's displeasure is a very, very hazardous phenomenon. A fight between two rogue traders will ensue, and as ridiculous as it may sound, its outcome will most likely depend on the allegiance of the station's humble liege. I mean, honestly, that doesn't sound ridiculous at all. That's why we're trying to get on his good side. You don't take over an entire sector without having a loyal network of capable allies to help you actually keep it running. I like you, Vladame. You know, you and I, we're not actually all that different. Sure, I might have risen a little higher, but we've got a lot in common. You aren't wrong. My path was long and bloody, but in the end I rose from running a gang that had staked its claim to a treatment filter station to becoming the liege of Footfall. Many died to make this possible, and those who survived figured it would be more convenient to put me at the head than continue the slaughter of the turf war. I can only hope that my elevation and the peace that came with it have done the station good. Yep, I hear that. The Administratum's great at shuffling paperwork, but out here on the frontier, it takes people like us to actually get things done. A shame more people don't recognize that. At least, not until it's too late. I appreciate your breadth of thinking. In this day and age, few choose to allow themselves such a thing. Right back at you. So tell me, who actually controls the Xenos trade out here? The Kaspalika Mission, a criminal syndicate that has seized control of the entirety of the cold trade in the sector. Xenos creations are in high demand, and so every single colony has a Kaspalikan agent or two. Opposing their commercial interests is a lot more dangerous than using their merchandise. A pale ghost of a smile appears on his lips. Still, making friends with this organization is as profitable as it is dangerous to make enemies of them. And it just so happens that I've managed to earn their trust. And on Footfall, they conduct their business under my watchful eye. He sends you a meaningful look. Is that so? Well, say no more. I'm glad to have satisfied your curiosity. So where do I actually go if I want to cut a deal? Here. I am the main dealer on the station, and it would be disrespectful of me to suggest that you take your business to footfall traders of lesser importance. Still, you might take an interest in a few people of note. For example, Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso. This servant of the ecclesiarchy is rumored to purchase sacred relics from captains, and other traders don't seem keen on becoming his competitors. Gosh, I can't imagine why. If you're looking for goods that can entertain you, find Octaviana at the establishment called the Adeptus Amesicus. The chemical bliss that she offers is refined, and possesses a satisfactory degree of purity. Just don't ask her to pour you her signature drink. It's meant for common footfall rabble, not discerning clientele. Noted. Thanks. And of course that's where we'll find our new fellowship contact. Now let's see what you got. I am at your service. You can expect the most generous discounts. Well, I certainly hope so, because you were crazy expensive back in Alpha. Oof. And much like with the Drusians, we're starting at ground zero on reputation. So that is quite a hurdle to overcome. Pretty slim pickings on the initial offerings, but we'll take it. We'll probably just cash this stuff back in. Except for the medkits, of course. Those we have a use for. And, oh my goodness. Okay, he is definitely not giving us his best prices. That's actually kind of bonkers. Yeah, there's something really weird going on with his prices here, because those are two, even 3 times the price of higher tier goods. Then again, I suppose the prices I'm seeing here are actually all over the place. We're seeing stuff in the 30s, flanked on either end by prices as high as 60, with no real rhyme or reason. Though I am seeing some potentially useful gear in the mix. Anyway, we're obviously not hitting tier 1 just yet, so we'll put a pin in that for now. But we do still have time on the clock, so let's go find one more thing to do. Lord Captain, I am pleased to report that the inspections have been completed, and all identified system failures have been resolved. The void ship is ready to depart Footfall. The crew is waiting for your further instructions, and there are also a number of issues that need to be addressed. Which, I guess, makes that the next thing we're going to do. Alright, let's head back to the docks. We'll get this sorted out real quick. Actually, we still have those refugees waiting for us back on the docks, too. Maybe we'll just have a quick chat with them. Oh, hello there. A well-groomed young man calls out to you. He is clean-shaven and dressed in clothes that are expensive but unshowy, with a bright aquila embroidered in a prominent spot. Your lordship, I humbly ask for a minute of your time. I am Bastian Indarama Bastal Korda, youngest cousin of House Korda, envoy of Incendia Bastal Korda, rogue trader of the Koronus Expanse by the grace of the Most Holy Emperor. Korda, They are some of the most influential rogue traders in the Koronus Expanse, but not on Footfall. This station is under the control of House Winterscale. Something tells me that we are about to hear a most curious offer, says Abelard under his breath, so that only you can hear him. Well, you've got my attention. What do you need? A matter of the utmost delicacy. You see, you've been to the residence of the Liege. Blaine almost certainly appealed to you for assistance in the arrangement of shipments to Footfall. The Von Valancius Protectorate is famed for the abundance of its main agri-world, Janus. It would be odd for him not to seize on such an opportunity when Footfall is on the verge of famine. However, the Korda dynasty pursues its own interests on Footfall. We have already announced our terms to the Liege, but he is stalling. I imagine in hopes of getting a better offer from you. The Korda dynasty believes, Bastian smiles and gives a slight shrug, that cooperation would be preferable for both rogue trader houses. If you refuse Vladaim, thereby forcing him to agree to a deal with us, the Korda dynasty can promise you a share of the profits from the future contract, as well as certain other perquisites. Everybody benefits. The Emperor's most loyal servants should be more concerned with carrying his will through the stars, and less with divvying up profit amongst themselves, Argenta says disapprovingly, but quietly enough so as not to interrupt the negotiations. Especially when the well-being of one of the Imperium's worlds is at stake, even one such as Footfall. Behind your smile, Master Bastian, teal shadows swirl. Others may not see them, but your worry cannot escape my eye. What are you afraid of? Your house's wrath should these negotiations prove fruitless? Or the wrath of House von Valancius? Adira, who was yawning in boredom a moment ago, flinches and clutches her face, her fingernails digging into her skin. They're coming again! Brothers of the ones who came before. I just don't get it. Do they all have a death wish? You heard her. Weapons at the ready, people. Bastian, you might want to get down. What? Bastian stares at you in surprise, then turns around. Death to Offworlders! The Anvers rule Footfall! I'll get help.
I'll make an example out of you.
Give me strength.
Oh man, that was our last Bastion. Just as well, I suppose. Not like we were going to take him up on that offer anyway. Oof, and we have a pretty nasty stacking buff on these guys. So it's in our interest to thin them out as quickly as possible. Okay, pretty solid starting lineup. Right, Grand Strat, makes sense. Let's have a look here. We have this cluster here, backed up by an Anver Specialist, that's a Grenadier. More scattered behind, a couple on the right. And then the big boss, Twice Dead Lanny. First two times didn't stick, but maybe third time's the charm. Ooh, he goes quick, too. Alright, let's position off to the left. We'll hug cover where possible. Right off the bat, we're going to clear the guys on our left and directly in front of us. Minimize that stacking buff as quickly as possible. With our ultimate goal being to open a path for Abelard, so he can pin down that sniper. Cast with a half turn. We'll have Adira go first. Clear the riffraff on the left. Ooh, yes, let's set down combat zones too. We'll set the damage buff zone right on top of her. Then we'll set, let's say, front line right on our targets. And then dodge zone on Abby. One extra point to play with. And we've already got 4 warning running, so let's go Prescient. And let her rip. Ooh, that guy might actually survive this. Oh, wow. We got a twofer on Spillover. Though we do still have this guy over here. But I'm not too worried about him. He's got a fair bit of ground to cover to actually reach us. So next up we've got Cask? Yes. And then Cast with a full turn right after. Let's push Pask up towards Lanny. That way you can join the dog pile with Abby on turn 2.
The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all.
Oh, actually, I should have nerfed Lanny, but no big deal. Let's get Pask Tack running.
Running by Narek Override.
Move front line. Nah, no real ideal place to put it. And trim. Oof, not that guy.
Request approved.
Oh, well, that's not who I clicked on, but okay, yeah, I'll take it. So now Cast with a full turn. And let's be aggressive here. We'll push her right up. But before we do that, we'll have Val whittle Lanny. No chance of a one-hit kill, but it might bring him down enough for Abby. Take out the trash.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered as duty demands.
Oh, wow, not enough. Okay. Shoot, I should have kill zoned that. Ah, it's fine. Adira's got it. Let's have Val take his shot.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Oh, crap. Unless he has no line of sight. Oh, no. I thought we could see over that statue. Ah, dang it.
On it.
All right, fair enough. Left flank clear. And then I guess we'll just clear another trash mob. Kind of a waste, but at least it's something. Man, who do we have line of sight to? Had this whole thing planned out in my head, and now it's all busted. Well, on the bright side, that means Lanny doesn't have line of sight either.
Your end was inevitable.
Unless he, you know, he moves, which he will. I really thought we had him. But alas, he was lying in wait. Adira? Let's push up. Buff. Clear trash.
But of course.
Prescience. Kind of overkill at this point. We've already wiped half these guys out. No, no. Avoid friendly fire. We'll go right.
No!
Argenta. Let's have her clear these last two. And push up. Ooh, not as far as I'd like. But you know what, that's fine. Rapid fire.
Doubt is for the weak.
Ooh, just one.
As the Emperor commands, I act. You, my Emperor! Faith without deeds is worthless.
That's 5 for Argenta. Ooh, and an immediate dodge. Very nice. I'd actually kind of resigned myself to burning a med pack on that, but turns out this is not Lanny's day. Would have been nice to have an actual fight, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Who, if not me?
Let's take him out.
I'll see to it personally.
Lead with main. Nice. And Death Whisper. Minor ding, but he's now bleeding out. I was kind of hoping it would tell me how much it was doing, but that's fine. We'll just watch the combat log. Abby moving up. Ah. Should have sworn before charging.
I will do my duty.
No worries. We're just about done.
I'm not interested.
Oh, hey guys. Glad you could join us. You're here just in time to see our spectacular victory. Let's pin him down, get him debuffed. And whiff on the swing, but that's fine. Still got a lot of setup in place. Cast moving up. Too far for Pask, but we'll tag Argenta. Reel him in. Oh, wow. Yeah, Pask wasn't letting that one go. Fair enough. I appreciate his follow-through. Ah. Poor Bastian. Killed and then immediately trampled by the uncaring masses. Well, to be fair, he did propose that we starve them. Now he gets to know what it's like to be downtrodden. Alright, let's clear the corpses, then I think we're at a good place to call it. I figure if we've got any real prizes, it's going to be on Lanny back there, so we'll save him for last. Oh, hold up. Anver's note from the atrium. Sector 2, watch your back. Make sure you're not being followed. And a chain axe. That's fun. Higher damage and penetration than your average chain sword, but no parry bonus.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
And Lanny, what you got for me, bud? Auspex, plus 10 awareness. Okay. We will definitely take that. Plus scrap chain. Worse than most of our current gear. And Sin Skin, which we already have on Argenta. But I think that's actually a step down for our Psychers. I'll have to double check that. Might as well grab this while we're here. Pardon me, sir.
Operation successful.
Okay, so nothing of particular note.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
All right, okay. Another fairly fruitful episode. We met the local liege. We had some very interesting conversations with him. We took in some local sites, dealt with some local color, and even got in a quick fight. Though, fight might be a bit of a stretch. These guys mostly went down before they even got a shot off. Still, nice to have some carnage every so often. Even if it is woefully one-sided. Yeah, aside from the Auspex, not really seeing much we can use here. But I'll give it a closer look off screen, just in case. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, clean up our inventory a bit, and we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EV23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
I'll see to it personally.